Okay, let's talk a minute about moving through timelines and moving to from 4D to 5D. Okay, everybody now on the planet is in 4D, whether they know it or not. And so all of you guys went from 3D to 4D, and you probably didn't even notice that there was a change. Now, which is why, from my perspective on the outside, that's why there's not a sign that says, okay, here's 3D, here's 4D, here's 5D, because it's all one wave, okay? But you did. Now you're in 4D proper. Now, people in 4D, can be in the lower levels of 4D and can have a really bad thing happen to them and snap down to 3D vibrations and back up, just like you can be in a really good mood and you can be in a really bad mood. Okay, those are difference in vibrations. But as you and me, we move through timelines over, will be higher and higher and higher in 4D, so the people around us will be unable to drop to those 3D vibrations anymore. Now, there are other timelines where they can, but where I'm going, and you're listening to me, so where we're going soon, that we will be surrounded by people that it will be unable for them to run down into the lower vibrations of 3D anymore. No deep, dark despair. No ferocious, crazy, angry stuff. No more of that. Okay? And it's the same way when you're going to 4D to 5D. You're not going to come out of this body that you're in. This body that you're in is going to change its vibration, just like it did from 3 to 4D. So, when we're in 4D and we're doing it together, we won't look very much different to each other. Now, if we were to pop down to somebody who is in 3D, we would look like we shine, So when they say, bring in more light, increase your frequency, that's exactly physically what you're doing. You're literally bringing in more energy, and your body will look more like it's glowing, like it's full of light, which eventually it'll look very angelic, and eventually it'll look like a ball of light to somebody. Okay, that's just increasing, raising the frequency and changing the vibration. When you see somebody in physical form in the higher vibrations, that's us to each other. But let's say you in 4D saw me when I was outside of this creation, I would look like a ball of light to you. But if I'm hanging out with my friends, then I will look like I'm in physical form to us to each other, or we can look like a ball of light if we want to, or we can look like nothing at all. It's a lot more fluid up there, okay? So as you are changing frequencies, and that will be changing timelines both at the same time, it's the reason why I'm doing the video on both, you're going to be walking through life being happier and happier and happier. And what will happen is gradually, then you will not have bad things. The bad things will stop happening to you. You'll stop feeling bad. The events won't occur anymore. You'll stop seeing them in the world. You just, when you look out at the world, instead of seeing death and destruction, you'll see happiness and joy. And it's a gradual process, and it is better today than it was 20 years ago. But because it's happened so gradually, you don't realize that it's better. But let me assure you, it is better. It's a lot better. And it will continue to get better and better and better and better as long as you walk this path. As you are consciously insisting on being happier and happier and happier, the side effect of that, it has to be that your vibration raises. With that raising of vibration, you bring in more energy. And more energy, you bring more light. Now, the reason why I say you don't need to worry about chakras or karma or channelers is because now we're moving so fast that all you've got to do is do it with a thought. That's all you got to do. Once you believe that you are a creator God and that what you say goes, period, end of story, then you don't need any of that other stuff anymore. That other stuff just got you focused so you could get something done, gave you kind of just a way to focus it without thinking about who was doing it. In reality, it was always you. Always you. It always has been, always will be. It's just kind of a mind trick that you think it's Jehovah God. You think it's Michael. You think it's... And they take a little bit of your energy, or a lot of your energy, but you're the one that's doing it. You always have all along. Now you're to the point where you know that. You know that it's always been you. It always will be you. So now you don't need any of that other stuff anymore, except for maybe money. Refer to my last video. Whatever you need to do to get that one done, well, let me know, so you can teach me something. But the rest of it, with me, you just intend, and I know I should intend with money and it'll just happen, but I haven't quite got rid of the belief systems, but I'll get there. I'll get there. You just intend something and you go there. And I know that the money thing is going to fall into place as long as I'm happier and happier and happier. So all I worry about is the happier and happier and happier, and I don't look too far down the road. I remember when I was learning how to snow ski, back when I was a long time ago, and I was up in, where was I? I think it was New Mexico. And I was up at the top of the mountain, and I wasn't paying too much attention to the maps, a little bit, and I remember seeing the maps, and I was on not beginner but intermediate blue, I think, slopes, and there was a way down the mountain, and there was only two ways down. There was going down a catwalk, which is almost flat, and you have to pull your way across, very tiring, not fun, and then there, especially in downhill skis. And then there was this little teeny tiny line on the map that was a yellow, which is more advanced than my blue slope was. And I went, oh, it's a teeny tiny little line. I can do that. So I went skiing down on my blue slope to the top of this, and I could see in front of me a whole bunch of people just stopped in a big old line. And I went, well, what in the world is going on up there? So I skied up there, and sure enough, there is that little teeny tiny line that is very tiny. It's not a very big slope, but it is just straight down and full of moguls, and those are bumps, those little bumps. And we're all looking. I've got people that you know did the same thing I did. You know they did. And we're all looking at each other like, what in the world are we going to do? And there's people that are taking off their skis and are just scooting down this hill. Others just start going. And I looked over at the taking off the skis, scooting down the hill, and I went, oh, no, I don't want to do that. So I went, well, let me see what I can do. So there is this point to this story, really there is. So I headed off, and I remember as long as I looked right in front of me, it wasn't too bad. Now, if I looked down the hill, it scared the bejesus out of me. It scared me to death. I fell over immediately. But I learned after falling over out of fear to stop looking down the hill. Instead, I just looked right in front of me. And when I looked right in front of me, I could handle that. I could do that. And so I just kept looking right in front of me, and little by little, I inched myself down this expert hill and made it. And I didn't scoot down on my butt. So that's kind of how I'm doing things now. I just look right in front of me, which I'm sure is the whole now thing that people talk about. Just stay in the now, just stay in the now. I can handle now. Because now, right this second, nothing's wrong. I'm great. I'm feeling fine. And life is good. And all I've got to do is be a little bit happier than I am right now. Because if you look at things really objectively, and y'all know about my trauma, but really, if I were to collect all of the actual pain, physical pain that I was in all of those times that I was traumatized, if you took the actual physical pain where I was hit or tortured or abused in some way, if you took all of the actual time that it happened, I'll bet I could get it down into one day, 24 hours. Probably wouldn't go over that. The rest of the time, I was scared of it happening again. What was going to happen to me again? That actually caused me the most pain in my life, was the fear of it happening again. In reality, the actual time that it took to happen wasn't very long. And now looking back at it, people can threaten me with anything. I know that whatever it is they do to me, it's not going to last very long. Not in the scheme of things. So I'm not afraid of it anymore. So, with that in mind, that really, the actual pain of it occurring didn't take that long. It was more what I did to myself and the fear of it happening again that created most of my trauma or ongoing trauma, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm not doing it to myself anymore. I'm not worried about anybody doing anything to me because I know it's not going to last very long, not in the scheme of things. And I can take care of what is right in front of me in this moment. And I guarantee you, 90% of the time, I can go from this moment to a little bit happier because this moment is pretty darn good. It's pretty darn good. This moment, I'm talking to you guys. I've got lots of good moments here. I'm up to almost 11 minutes of feeling wonderful because things are pretty darn good right this second. So that's how you do timelines, and that's how you go to 5D. It's moment to moment to moment to moment of being just a little bit happier and a little bit happier. And if you pick up your eyes and look around, it is a little bit better than it was a week ago. And it is a little bit better than it was a month ago, and a year ago, and 10 years ago. Anyway, it is for me. And that's how I do it. And, of course, everybody's different, and y'all have to do it your way. But that is how I do it. And it works pretty well for me. It's working pretty good, and I'm moving along at a pretty good clip now. So come and do it my way, or tweak it your own way, and let me know what you do, okay? What works for you. Let everybody else know what works for you, okay? All right, guys. Huge hugs, and I love you bunches, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.